Taman stood at the window of his quarters on the Earth Embassy ship, watching the stars blur past. In 3 days he would arrive at Valora Prime. In 4 days he would marry a princess he had never met. The thought made his stomach tight with worry. He was 32 years old and had spent most of his life working as a diplomat. His job was to talk to aliens to make deals to keep Earth safe. He was good at his job. He kept his emotions hidden. He never made mistakes. But this was different. This was not just a job anymore. The door opened behind him. Doyen walked in carrying a datapad. Doyen was older, maybe 50, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been a diplomat longer than Taman. He knew things that Taman was still learning. "Can't sleep?" Doyen asked. Taman shook his head. "Just thinking." Doyen sat down at the small table in the corner. He looked at Taman for a long moment. "You don't have to do this, you know. We can find someone else." "No," Taman said. "I volunteered. Earth needs this alliance. The Valorans control hundreds of worlds. If we refuse this marriage, they might turn against us. Billions of lives depend on this." Doyen nodded slowly. "That's true. But you're still human. You're allowed to be scared." Taman turned back to the window. Scared, yes, he was scared. But showing fear was not something diplomats did. Fear made you weak. Fear made you make mistakes. "Tell me about her again," Taman said. "About Princess Hana." Doyen pulled up a hologram from his datapad. A woman's face appeared in the air. She was beautiful. Her skin glowed softly like moonlight on water. Her eyes were large and dark, and they seemed to change color slightly as the hologram moved. Her hair was long and black, falling past her shoulders. "She's the youngest daughter of the Valoran Emperor," Doyen said. 28 years old. Educated in philosophy and art. The Valorans say she's kind and gentle. She's never been involved in politics before. "Why her?" Taman asked. "Why not one of the older daughters?" Doyen shrugged. "The Emperor chose her. We don't question their customs. Just remember the rules. Valorans value emotional control. Don't show too much feeling. Be polite, be respectful. Let her speak first in private conversations." Taman studied the hologram. Hana looked peaceful, calm, everything a princess should be. But something about her eyes bothered him. Even in the hologram, they seemed to be looking right through him, seeing things he didn't want seen. The ship arrived at Valora Prime on schedule. Taman stood in the landing bay, wearing the formal clothes Earth had given him for this mission. Dark blue suit, white shirt, a small pin showing Earth's flag. Simple, respectful. The door opened. Light poured in. Taman stepped onto Valoran's soil for the first time. The city was like nothing he had ever seen. Buildings rose into the sky like crystal towers. Gardens grew everywhere, filled with plants that glowed in colors Earth didn't have names for. The air smelled sweet like flowers and rain. Music played softly from somewhere, beautiful and sad at the same time. Valoran nobles waited to greet him. They all looked like Hana, tall, graceful, their skin glowing softly. They smiled and bowed and spoke in voices like singing. But Taman noticed something. When they thought he wasn't looking, their smiles disappeared. Their eyes became cold. They watched him like scientists watching an experiment. A woman approached. She wore robes of silver and gold. Her eyes were amber, shifting to green as she moved. "Welcome, Taman of Earth," she said. Her accent was perfect. "I am Hana, your future wife." Taman bowed as he had been taught. "Princess Hana, I am honored," she smiled. It was a perfect smile, warm, kind, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Come, we have much to prepare. The ceremony is in 3 days." The next 3 days passed in a blur. Taman learned Valoran customs. He practiced the wedding ceremony. He met nobles and officials who all asked him questions about Earth. They were very interested in human culture, in human history, in how humans thought and felt. He saw Hana several times, but always with others present. She was polite, distant. She spoke about art and music and philosophy. She never asked him personal questions. She never showed real emotion. The night before the wedding, Taman couldn't sleep. He walked through the palace gardens alone. The glowing plants cast strange shadows. The music was still playing somewhere, soft and haunting. He found Hana standing by a fountain. She was alone, looking up at the stars. For a moment, she didn't know he was there. Her face was different. No smile, no mask of politeness. She looked tired, maybe even sad. Then she sensed him and turned. The mask returned instantly. The perfect smile. "Taman, you should be resting. So should you," he said. She looked at him for a long moment. Something flickered in her eyes. Something that might have been curiosity. "Are you afraid?" she asked. It was the first real question she had asked him. Taman considered lying, but something told him honesty might be better. "Yes, good," she said. "Fear means you're not stupid." Before he could respond, she walked away. Her robes whispered against the stone path. Taman stood alone by the fountain, wondering what she meant. The wedding day arrived. The ceremony was held in the grand hall, a massive room with walls made of crystal. Thousands of people watched, humans from Earth, Velerans from across their empire, representatives from other alien species. Taman stood at the altar wearing ceremonial robes. Hana walked toward him looking like a goddess. Her dress shimmered with light. Her skin glowed brighter than usual. She moved like water, smooth and perfect. They spoke the vows. Taman in English, Hana in Valoran, then together in the common galactic language. Their hands touched. Her skin was warm, soft, but her grip was strong. The priest declared them married. The crowd cheered. Music played. Taman looked at Hana. She was smiling at him. That perfect empty smile, but just for a second he saw something else in her eyes. Something that looked like hunger. The celebration lasted hours, food, dancing, speeches about unity and peace. Veleran nobles came to congratulate them. They all had that same look. That same hungry interest when they looked at Taman. Doyen found him during a quiet moment. "How are you holding up?" "I'm fine," Taman lied. Doyen didn't look convinced. "Remember, if anything feels wrong, contact me. We have protocols for this." "Nothing will be wrong," Taman said. "It's just a political marriage. We both know what this is," but as he said it, he wondered if that was true. Finally, the celebration ended. Servants led Taman and Hana to their private chambers. The room was beautiful. Large windows showed the city below, all glowing lights and crystal towers. The bed was enormous, covered in silk. Everything was perfect. The servants left. The door closed. Taman and Hana were alone for the first time as husband and wife. Hana walked to the window. She stood there for a long moment, not speaking. Her skin still glowed softly in the darkness. Then she turned to face him, and her smile was gone. Her eyes were different now, cold, sharp, predatory. "Well," she said, and her voice was nothing like before. It was hard, clear. "That performance is over. Now we can talk honestly." Taman felt his heart start to race. This was not the gentle princess he had married. This was someone else entirely. "Who are you?" he asked. Hana laughed. It was not a kind laugh. "I'm exactly who I've always been. The question is, Taman of Earth, are you ready to learn the truth? Because once you know, everything changes, and there's no going back." Taman stood very still. His training as a diplomat told him to stay calm. Don't show fear. Don't show surprise. But his heart was beating fast. This was not the woman he had married a few hours ago. Hana walked toward him. Not the graceful glide she had used before. This was different. She moved like a hunter, like something that knew exactly how dangerous it was. Her skin glowed brighter now, pulsing with amber light. "You performed well today," she said. Her voice had changed too. Still beautiful, but sharp. Cold. "I was concerned that humans might be too emotional for this. Too weak. But you held yourself together nicely." "What are you talking about?" Taman asked. He kept his voice steady. Hana smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Come now. You're intelligent. You must have felt it. The way we watched you. The way we studied you. Did you really think this was just about peace and friendship?" She moved to a table and poured herself a drink. The liquid glowed softly in the glass. She didn't offer him any. "Let me tell you about my people, Taman. The real truth. Not the stories we tell the galaxy." Taman said nothing. He waited. Sometimes silence made people reveal more than questions did. "Velerans are not philosophers," Hana said. "We're not artists. We're not pacifists who love peace and beauty. That's all a lie. A very good lie that we've been telling for thousands of years." She turned to face him. Her eyes were completely amber now, glowing like fire. "We're hunters, predators. We evolved to ambush prey, to deceive, to hide our true nature until it's too late for our victims to escape." Taman felt cold. "You're saying the peaceful Valoran Empire is a lie?" "Completely," Hana said. She seemed pleased that he understood. We don't conquer with armies. We conquer with smiles. With art, with marriages like ours. We infiltrate. We corrupt. We take control slowly from the inside. By the time a species realizes what's happening, it's already over. She pulled up a hologram. Images appeared in the air. Different alien species. Dozens of them. All of these civilizations welcomed us. They trusted us. They married their leaders to us. They let us into their governments, their militaries, their schools. And now they serve the Valoran Empire, not as slaves. That would be too obvious. They serve because they believe it's their choice. Taman stared at the images. Some of these species he recognized. They were listed as Valoran allies in the official records, independent worlds that had chosen friendship with Valora. But if Hana was telling the truth, they weren't allies. They were prey that had already been caught. Why are you telling me this? Taman asked. Because I don't need to hide it from you, Hana said simply. We're married now. Legally bound by both human and Valoran law. If you try to warn Earth, you'll be breaking the treaty. That gives us justification to invade. Your government knows this. They won't believe you anyway. They'll think you've gone crazy. Or they'll think you're a traitor trying to destroy the alliance Earth desperately needs. She walked closer to him, close enough that he could feel the heat from her glowing skin. You're trapped, Taman. Your whole species is trapped. You can accept it and live a comfortable life as my husband, or you can fight and watch everything burn. Most choose comfort. Taman looked at her, really looked at her. She expected him to break, to beg to accept defeat. He could see it in her eyes. She had done this before, probably many times, with representatives from other species. But she didn't know humans very well. You made a mistake, he said quietly. Hana raised an eyebrow. Really, what mistake? You think humans are like the other species you've conquered, Taman said. You think we'll choose comfort over freedom, safety over truth, but you don't understand us at all. For the first time, Hana looked uncertain. What are you saying? I'm saying you picked the wrong species to hunt, Taman said. Humans don't surrender. We don't accept defeat. We're stubborn, crazy, unpredictable, and we're very, very good at surviving things that should kill us. Hana laughed, but it sounded forced. Brave words, but words won't save you. You have no power here. No weapons, no allies. I have something better, Taman said. I have information. And I have you. Me? You just told me everything. Every secret. Every weakness. You think I'm trapped, but you're wrong. We're both trapped now. You married me. That means I have access to your world. To your people. To your secrets. You wanted to use me to infiltrate Earth, but I can use you to learn everything about Valora. Hana's eyes narrowed. You wouldn't dare. Watch me, Taman said. They stared at each other. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the city outside. Hana looked like she wanted to hurt him. But she couldn't, not yet. The marriage was too important. Too public. Killing him now would raise questions. Finally, Hana spoke. Her voice was very quiet, very dangerous. This is going to be an interesting marriage? Yes, Taman agreed. It is. Hana moved away from him. She walked to the other side of the room. I underestimated you. I won't make that mistake again. Good, Taman said, because I won't underestimate you either. She looked at him with something that might have been respect. Or maybe just curiosity. You know this won't end well for you. Even if you're clever. Even if you fight. Valora has conquered hundreds of worlds. We've been doing this for thousands of years. One human can't stop us. Maybe not, Taman said. But I'll make you work for it. And maybe I'll find others who want to fight too. You said you've conquered dozens of species. That means you've made dozens of enemies. They're out there somewhere waiting. All they need is someone to start the fire. Hana was silent for a long time. Then she smiled. Not the cold predator smile. Something else. Something almost genuine. You're either very brave or very stupid. Probably both, Taman admitted. She laughed. A real laugh this time. I've never met anyone like you. Most species accept their fate quietly. But humans, you're all insane. Maybe that's our advantage, Taman said. Hana walked to the bed and sat down. She suddenly looked tired. Fine, we'll play your game. But understand this. I will be watching you. Every moment, every conversation, every move you make. And the moment you become more dangerous than useful, I'll end you. Marriage or not. Fair enough, Taman said. I'll be watching you too. They spent the rest of the night in silence. Hana on one side of the room, Taman on the other. Neither slept, both thinking, planning, preparing for the war that had just begun. When morning came, they put on their masks again. The perfect couple, the diplomatic marriage, smiling for the cameras and the crowds, but now they both knew the truth. This was not a marriage. This was a battlefield, and only one of them could win. Taman just had to make sure it was humanity. 3 weeks had passed since the wedding. Taman and Hana played their roles perfectly during the day. They attended state dinners. They met with ambassadors. They smiled for cameras and spoke about unity between their worlds. Everyone believed they were happy, but at night, behind closed doors, the war continued. They circled each other like fighters waiting for an opening. Every conversation was a test. Every word was a weapon Taman was learning. He watched Hana carefully. He studied how Velerans behaved, how they talked, how they thought, and he discovered something important. They were arrogant. Velerans had been winning for so long that they stopped expecting real resistance. They planned everything carefully, years in advance, but they couldn't handle chaos. They couldn't improvise when things went wrong. Humans were different. Humans lived short lives compared to most aliens. They didn't have centuries to plan, so they learned to adapt quickly, to change plans on the fly, to survive by being unpredictable. That was humanity's advantage. That was how they could fight back. One morning, Taman was walking through the palace gardens. He was alone, which was rare. Guards usually followed him everywhere, but he had learned their patrol patterns. He had found a small window of time when no one watched this particular path. A voice spoke from behind a flowering tree. Sir Taman?" Taman stopped. A young Veleran woman stepped out. She wore the simple clothes of a servant. Her skin glowed less brightly than the nobles. Her eyes were nervous. "Who are you?" Taman asked quietly. "My name is Jiwoo," she said. "I work in the kitchens. I shouldn't be talking to you. It's forbidden for servants to speak to the royal family without permission. But I had to take the risk." "Why?" Jiwoo looked around nervously. "Because I heard what you said to Princess Hana, about fighting back, about not surrendering. The walls are thin. Servants hear things." Taman's heart raced. This could be a trap. Hana testing him again. "And what did you think about what you heard?" "I think you're right," Jiwoo whispered. "I think Valora is cruel, evil. I've seen what they do to conquered species. To their own lower castes, I hate it. But I never thought anyone would stand against them. Until you. You could be working for Hana," Taman said. "This could be another test." Jiwoo pulled up her sleeve. Her arm was covered in scars, old burns. "These are from my training, when I made mistakes. Veleran nobles don't see servants as people. We're tools, property. I want them to fall. If you're really fighting them, I want to help." Taman studied her. She was scared, but her eyes were honest and desperate. "What can you tell me?" "There are others like me," Jiwoo said quickly. "Velerans who reject what our people have become. We call ourselves the Forgotten. Most of us are lower caste. Some are exiles. We have no power, but we have knowledge. We know Veleran weaknesses." "Like what?" "They're ships," Jiwoo said. "Everyone thinks Veleran ships are invincible, but they're not. They depend on a central control network. If you could disrupt it, their whole fleet would be vulnerable. And their surveillance systems. They monitor everything, but the system has blind spots. I can show you where." Taman felt hope for the first time in weeks. "Can you get me information?" "Documents? Anything that proves what Valora really is?" "I can try," Jiwoo said. "But you need to be careful. The princess watches you constantly. She's testing you, waiting for you to make a mistake." "I know," Taman said, "but I have to try. For my people. For all the people Valora has hurt." Jiwoo nodded. She pressed something small into his hand. A data chip. "This is encrypted. It contains locations of forgotten safe houses, ways to contact us. Be careful with it. If anyone finds it, we're all dead." Then she was gone, disappearing back into the gardens like a ghost. Taman hid the chip carefully. His mind was racing. He had an ally now. Maybe more. But he also needed to contact Earth, to warn them about what was really happening. That night, at another state dinner, Taman met someone else. A human man, maybe 40 years old, with sharp eyes and a friendly smile. He introduced himself as Minseo, a trade negotiator from Earth. They shook hands. Minseo's grip was firm. "Congratulations on your marriage," he said loudly enough for others to hear. Then much quieter, "We need to talk, privately." Later, Taemin found Minseo on a balcony. They stood looking at the city lights, speaking softly. "I'm not really a trade negotiator," Minseo said. "I'm intelligence. Earth sent me here months ago to gather information. I know what the Velerans are. I've been trying to find proof, but they're careful. Too careful." "I have proof," Taemin said. "Hana told me everything. She thought I was trapped. She didn't realize I would use it against her." Minseo's eyes widened. "Can you document it? Record it?" "I'm working on it," Taemin said. "I have a contact, someone who can get me information, but I need a way to send it to Earth. All communications are monitored." "I have a secure channel," Minseo said. "It's risky, but it works. Get me what you can. I'll make sure it reaches the right people." They made plans quickly. How to meet, how to pass information. They had to be careful. One mistake would cost them everything. Over the next weeks, Taemin became a spy in his own marriage. He attended royal meetings and memorized everything. He accessed Hana's private files when she was busy. He met with Jiwoo and the Forgotten, learning Valoran secrets, and Hana watched him. She knew he was planning something. She tested him constantly. She left documents where he could find them to see if he would take them. She mentioned false information to see if it would leak, but Taemin was careful. He anticipated her tests. He fed her half-truths. He made her think she was still in control. Their relationship became strange. They were enemies, but they lived together, ate together, appeared in public together. And slowly, against all logic, something like respect grew between them. One night, Hana spoke to him honestly for the first time since their first night together. "You're good at this," she said. "Better than I expected. Most humans would have broken by now. Most Valorans would have stopped me by now," Taemin replied. She smiled, not her predator smile. Something more real. "I'm curious. I want to see how far you'll go, how much you'll risk. It's entertaining." "This isn't entertainment," Taemin said. "This is survival. For you, maybe," Hana said. "For me, it's just another day in a very long life. I've played this game before. I'll play it again after you're gone." "Maybe," Taemin said. "Or maybe I'll surprise you." She looked at him thoughtfully. "You already have." Then she left him alone with his thoughts. Taemin met with Minseo again a few days later. He passed him a data drive containing everything he had learned. Recordings of Hana's confessions, documents from the Forgotten, proof of Velaran infiltration across dozens of worlds. "This is incredible," Minseo whispered. "This could change everything. But it's also dangerous. If Valora finds out what you're doing, they'll kill you." "I know," Taemin said. "But it's worth the risk. Send it to Earth. Make sure they understand what we're facing." Minseo nodded. "I'll transmit it tonight." "But Taemin, be ready. Once Earth sees this, things are going to change fast." That night, Taemin couldn't sleep. He stood at the window looking at the beautiful, terrible city of Valora Prime. Somewhere out in space, a message was traveling to Earth, a message that would start a war. He thought about Hana, about Jiwoo, about all the people who would be caught in what was coming. This wasn't going to end peacefully. Too much had been revealed. Too many lies exposed, but it was necessary. Humanity had to know the truth, had to have a chance to fight back, even if it cost him everything. The alarm came at 3 a.m. Red lights flashed throughout the palace. Guards ran through the halls. Someone had broken into the Central Intelligence Archive. Someone had stolen classified files. Taemin woke to find Hana standing over him. Her face was cold with rage. Her skin glowed bright red. "What did you do?" she demanded. "I don't know what you're talking about," Taemin said, but his heart was racing. Had Jiwoo been caught? Had Minseo made a mistake? "Don't lie to me," Hana hissed. "Someone accessed restricted files. Files about our infiltration operations, about conquered worlds. The same files I told you about. This is you. I know it's you. Prove it," Taemin said calmly. She stared at him. For a moment, he thought she might kill him right there, but she controlled herself. "Security is searching the palace. If they find anything connecting you to this, not even our marriage will save you." Then she left. Taemin got dressed quickly. He had to warn Jiwoo, had to find out what happened. He found her in the servants' quarters. She looked terrified. "They know," she whispered. "I got the files you needed, everything. Proof of the Velaran lies. proof of the invasion plans. But someone saw me. They're looking for me. Did you send the files? Taman asked. Yes, to your contact. The human intelligence officer. He has everything now. But we need to leave now before they find us. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Guards were coming. Taman and Jiwoo ran through the palace, down hidden passages that Jiwoo knew. The alarm kept blaring. Voices shouted behind them. They reached the docking bay where Minseo kept his ship. He was already there, preparing for emergency departure. Get in, he shouted. They'll be here any second. But before they could reach the ship, energy blasts lit up the bay. Guards had found them. Taman grabbed Jiwoo and pulled her behind a cargo container. Minseo returned fire with a small pistol. We're pinned down, Minseo yelled. Then another voice cut through the chaos. Stop firing! Hana walked into the docking bay. She was alone. No guards followed her. She looked at Taman with an expression he couldn't read. Anger, sadness, something else. You did it, she said quietly. You actually did it. You stole our secrets. You're going to expose us. I told you I would, Taman said. You're insane, Hana said. You know what will happen now. Valora will declare you a traitor. They'll hunt you. They'll invade Earth. Everything you tried to prevent will happen anyway. At least Earth will know the truth, Taman said. At least they'll have a chance to fight. Hana was quiet for a long moment. Behind her, more guards were arriving. But she held up her hand, stopping them. Why did you do this? You could have lived comfortably, safely. Why throw it all away? Because some things are worth more than safety, Taman said. Freedom, truth, the right to choose your own future. You wouldn't understand. Your entire culture is built on lies. Something flickered in Hana's eyes. Pain? Regret? She looked at the guards. Then back at Taman. You're right, she said softly. I don't understand. I've never understood. My whole life has been a performance. Playing roles. Manipulating others. I don't even know who I really am anymore. Then choose, Taman said. Right now, choose who you want to be. Hana closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they were filled with tears. I'm tired, she whispered. So tired of lying, of being what they made me. Maybe it's time to try something different. She turned to the guards. Let them go, she commanded. The guards looked confused. Princess, your father ordered. I said let them go. Hana's voice cracked with authority. I am taking responsibility for this. If my father wants someone to blame, he can blame me. The guards hesitated. Then slowly they lowered their weapons. Hana looked at Taman one last time. Go, before I change my mind. Come with us, Taman said suddenly. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to be what they made you. Hana stared at him in shock. Why would you offer me that? After everything I've done? Everything I represent? Because I saw something in you, Taman said, in the garden that night. In our conversations. You're not just a predator. You're more than what they made you. You can choose to be better. Tears ran down Hana's face. She looked at the guards. At the palace. At everything she had ever known. Then she looked at Taman. At the possibility of something different. Something real. If I come with you, I can never return, she said. I'll be a traitor in exile. Everything I was will be destroyed. Yes, Taman said. But you'll be free. Hana made her choice. She ran toward the ship, the guards shouted. Some raised their weapons again. Energy blasts filled the air. Taman, Hana, and Jiwoo scrambled aboard. Minseo fired up the engines, but one blast found its target. Jiwoo cried out and fell. Blood spread across her chest. The wound was bad. Very bad. Taman caught her as she collapsed. No, he said. Hold on. We'll get you medical help. But Jiwoo shook her head. She knew. It's okay, she whispered. I chose this. I chose to fight. That's more than most of my people can say. The ship lifted off. Valoran fighters were scrambling to intercept. But Minseo's ship was fast. It jumped to hyperspace just as the fighters reached firing range. Jiwoo's breathing was getting weaker. She looked at Taman with dying eyes. Tell them, she whispered. Tell the galaxy. Not all Valorans are monsters. Some of us tried. Some of us wanted better. I will, Taman promised. I swear I will, Jiwoo smiled. Then her eyes closed. She stopped breathing. Hana stood in the corner of the ship, watching. Her face was wet with tears. She had never cried before. Not really. Not like this. She died for us, she said quietly. A servant. Someone my people treated as nothing. She died to save us. She died for something bigger, Taman said. She died fighting for freedom. That makes her a hero. Minseo set course for Earth. The files are already being broadcast, he said. Every species in the galaxy is seeing the truth about Valora. It's causing chaos, but it's also causing something else, resistance, rebellion. All the conquered worlds are rising up. What about Valora? Hana asked. What will my father do? He'll declare war, Minseo said. Against Earth, against everyone. He has no choice now. The lie is exposed. All he has left is force. Hana looked at Taman. I'm sorry. This is my fault. If I had never told you the truth. No, Taman interrupted. This is your father's fault. Your empire's fault. All you did was give us a chance to fight back. That's more than we had before. The ship raced through space toward Earth. Behind them, the Valoran Empire mobilized for war. Ahead of them, humanity prepared to face the greatest threat it had ever known. But this time, they knew the truth. They knew what they were fighting. And they had something the Valorans didn't expect. They had hope. And humanity had never needed hope more. Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency session. Taman stood before them, presenting the evidence. Hana stood beside him. Both knew that what they said in the next few minutes would determine the fate of billions. The president of Earth spoke first. This information is shocking, but it's also terrifying. Valora has hundreds of warships, thousands of worlds under their control. If we challenge them openly, they'll destroy us. They'll destroy you anyway, Hana said quietly. That's what they do, slowly, quietly, until it's too late to resist. Right now, you still have a chance, but only if you fight. The military commander leaned forward. Princess, you expect us to trust you? You're Valoran. This could be an elaborate trap. I don't expect trust, Hana said. I expect you to be smart. Look at the evidence. Verify it. You'll find it's all true, and when you do, you'll understand that you have no choice but to fight. Taman added, We're not asking you to fight alone. The files we released went to every species in the galaxy. Valora's conquered worlds are already rebelling. Their empire is cracking. If we strike now, together we can break them. The room erupted in debate. Some leaders wanted to fight. Others wanted to negotiate. Some still hoped for peace. But slowly as they reviewed the evidence, they began to understand. There was no peace with Valora. There never had been. Only submission or war. Finally, the president stood. We will fight. Not because we want to, but because we must. Humanity has survived extinction events, world wars, and countless disasters. We will survive this too. Across the galaxy, other species made the same choice. Worlds that had lived under Valoran control for generations rose up. Ships that had served the Empire turned against it. The careful order Valora had built over millennia began to collapse. But Valora didn't go quietly. The Emperor sent his fleets to crush the rebellions. Worlds burned. Millions died. The Valorans fought with the desperate fury of predators who realized their prey had learned to bite back. Humanity's strategy was different. They didn't try to match Valoran strength directly. Instead, they used what made them human. They were unpredictable, creative. They improvised. Human ships used guerrilla tactics, hitting supply lines and disappearing before Valoran forces could respond. Human hackers disrupted Valoran communications. Human diplomats rallied other species, building alliances faster than Valora could destroy them. Taman worked with the military, using everything he had learned about Valoran psychology. Hana helped too, providing insider knowledge about Valoran weaknesses. She broadcast messages to her people, calling for them to reject the old ways. Some listened. Not many, but enough. The war raged for months. Both sides suffered terrible losses. But something was changing. The Valorans, who had always won through careful planning, couldn't adapt to human chaos. They made mistakes. They overextended. They underestimated their enemies again and again. Then came the final battle. The Valoran Emperor himself led a massive fleet to Earth. He intended to destroy humanity once and for all, to make an example that would terrify the galaxy into submission. Earth's defense fleet was much smaller. They couldn't win a straight fight, but they didn't need to. Taman proposed a desperate plan. A strike team would infiltrate the Emperor's flagship and take him down. It was suicidal, but if it worked, it might break Valoran morale completely. Taman led the team personally. Hana insisted on coming too. He's my father, she said. This is my responsibility. They approached the flagship in a captured Valoran shuttle. Hana's royal codes got them through security. Inside, they moved quickly through corridors filled with soldiers and officers. Some recognized Hana. Their confusion bought the team precious seconds. They reached the throne room. The Emperor sat on a crystal throne surrounded by guards. He looked at Hana with cold fury. "Traitor," he said. "You are my daughter. I raised you to be perfect, and you threw it all away for these animals." "You didn't raise me to be perfect," Hana said. "You raised me to be a weapon, a tool. But I'm more than that. I'm choosing to be more." "You're choosing death," the Emperor said. "Kill them all." The guards moved. But some hesitated. Hana's broadcast had planted seeds of doubt. Not all Velorans believed in the old ways anymore. The fight was brutal. Taman and his team were outnumbered. But they fought with desperate courage. And slowly, impossibly, they pushed forward. Taman reached the Emperor. They faced each other, the old predator and the young human who refused to be prey. "You cannot win," the Emperor said. "We have planned for thousands of years. You are nothing but chaos, noise. You will burn out and we will endure." "That's where you're wrong," Taman said. "You planned for everything except us. You didn't plan for species that refuse to quit, that adapt, that survive by being unpredictable. That's why we're winning, not because we're stronger, but because we never stop trying." The Emperor lunged. But Taman was ready. The fight was short, brutal. When it ended, the Emperor lay dead on his perfect crystal floor. The throne room fell silent. The remaining guards stared. Then one by one they lowered their weapons. Hana stepped forward. "It's over," she said to her people. "The old ways are dead. We can choose something new, something better. Or we can keep fighting and destroy ourselves. What will it be?" The answer came slowly, first from the guards in the room, then from the fleet outside, then from Veloran worlds across the galaxy. They chose to stop fighting. The war ended not with a grand battle, but with a choice. The choice to try something different. Months later, Taman stood before the Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of worlds watched. Some were grateful. Some were angry. Some were just confused about what would come next. "Humanity did not start this war," Taman said. "But we were willing to fight it. Not for conquest, not for revenge, but for the right to exist on our own terms. For the right of every species to choose their own path." He paused, looking around the chamber. "The Valoran Empire is broken good, it deserved to break. But we don't want to replace it with another empire. We want something different. A galaxy where species work together as equals, where no one lives in fear of manipulation or conquest." "Some of you think humans are dangerous now," Taman continued. "You see how we fought and you're scared. Good. You should be scared. Not of us specifically, but of underestimating anyone. That's what the Valorans did. They thought they were superior. They thought other species were weak. They were wrong." He looked directly at the council members. "Humanity is done being prey. We're done being pushed around. We're done being underestimated. If you want peace with us, we'll build it gladly. We'll be your friends, your allies, your trading partners. But if you want war, remember this moment. Remember that we don't fight to win gracefully. We fight to survive, and we're very good at surviving." The chamber was silent. Then slowly species began to applaud. Not all of them, but enough. Hana watched from the side of the room. She had chosen to step away from power, to help rebuild Valoran culture from the ground up. It would take generations. Maybe it would fail. But at least they were trying. After the speech, Taman found her in the gardens. The same gardens where they had first spoken honestly, back on Valora Prime. These gardens were on Earth, but they had been planted with Valoran flowers. A symbol of what they were trying to build. Something new from the old. "Good speech," Hana said. "Thanks," Taman said. "Think it will make a difference?" "Maybe, maybe not. But you tried. That's what matters." They stood together in comfortable silence. Their relationship was complicated. Part political, part friendship, part something else neither had words for. But it worked. "I never thanked you," Hana said quietly, "for giving me a choice. For showing me I could be more than what I was raised to be." "You made the choice," Taman said. "I just pointed out it existed," Hana smiled. A real smile. Not the predator's smile. Not the princess's perfect mask. Just Hana being herself. "What do we do now?" "We rebuild," Taman said. "We teach. We make sure this never happens again. And we hope that the galaxy learned something from all of this. What lesson? Taman looked up at the stars. Earth's sun was setting and other suns were becoming visible. Each one a potential home to other species, other civilizations, other stories. That every species has value. Every species has strengths. And the moment you start thinking you're superior to others, you've already lost. Because you stop learning, stop adapting, stop growing. That's what killed the Valoran Empire. Not us, them. They killed themselves by refusing to change. Do you think humanity will remember that? Hana asked. Or will you become what we were, arrogant, certain of your superiority? Maybe, Taman admitted. Humans aren't perfect. We make mistakes. We get cocky. But we also question ourselves. We argue, we debate. We never stop challenging our own assumptions. That's our real strength, not our weapons or our tactics. Our willingness to admit we might be wrong. They watched the stars together. Two people from different worlds, different species, different histories, but united by the same hope that the galaxy could be better, that species could learn from their mistakes, that the future didn't have to repeat the past. Somewhere in the city, a monument was being built. A memorial to Jiwoo and all the others who had died fighting for freedom. Their names would be remembered, their sacrifice honored. And somewhere else in the halls of power,